last year when we spoke, it was a lot of uncertainty as far as you had to get to know the guys. After all the time you had in LA, having to come in new. How different is it for you coming in and you had the year under you? You know this team. A lot of the core is back. Comfort level for you as well.
Definitely a lot more comfortable. Walking in the building. I know where I need to go. I know where my office is. Again, like you said, you know the guys. That's your biggest thing, is getting to know your players and understanding them over a course of a season. Had a pretty good feel that I knew we had a talented group from watching from the other side, but you don't really know them, and they don't know you. You're coming in, and we're bringing some new people on the staff and things like that. So they didn't really know us and how we were going to react to things. They should have a way better feeling for us. And I know we have a better feeling for them and how we can help them, put them in better position to be productive and to put them in the best position for us to win.
Glad you said production, because I want to break through. I want to get to the staff in a moment of the pitching, but start with the hitting. They were very good last year, average-wise. It was a fun team to watch. Obviously a very deep lineup, but they had trouble scoring runs. And how does that change from season to season when you have the same core? How do you get these guys and this team to score more runs?
Well, you count on a couple of things. The one thing I do count on is them getting better, right? And you count on that what we went through last year is really important, that we've learned some lessons as a club, what it takes to play, through 162 games, where a lot of those games are important games, and a lot of plays are big plays, and every at bat is a big at bat. There's a difference in like playing when you're 20 games back or 15 games back, and you really don't have a chance to be in the playoffs. Your at bats, if you have a bad day, it's okay. But when you're trying to win something, every one of those at bats count, and that kind of wears you down. So that's one of the areas we feel like is an area for improvement. The other area for me, just our prep work, I think has to be better. Young players have a tendency to show up, think they can show up and play, and their abilities is going to take them where they need to go. And it will take them to a certain point. When you have a talented group, they're going to get to a certain level. But the next step is the prep work. And how do I get better? And I kind of just what we just witnessed at the Super Bowl. We watch the Patriots, and it seems like nobody really wants to say they're a Patriot fan anymore because they win every year, right? Or they're there every year. But they're there every year, and they all talk about team. They talk about preparation. They talk about their work and their work habits. Those aren't just, and those don't, so we can't complain about payroll and things like that, or what kind of small market we have. Those are all things that are free. Doing that work, doing that prep work, being ready to play every night, those are free, right? So that's where I think we have to get a lot better, and that's what I'm counting on.
Do you think part of it was maybe last year in the getting the feel and changing and getting comfortable under it, that maybe that was lacking a little bit? They just needed to understand that while this team is talented, you still got to take that next step work-wise?
Well, I think once you're in a pennant race, and a lot of guys for the first time that were really playing meaningful games as we got down the stretch, right? And that's something, as you're in it, it's hard to teach within that moment, But as guys walk away and they get to their homes or wherever they are during the off season, they get some downtime where they're not coming to the ballpark every day. They're not having to answer questions. They're not having to get ready to play every day. You hope that time away, you're able to see things a little differently. You step back a little bit and you start to go, man, I was really pushing, or I wasn't ready for that guy. I should have been more prepared. When I had been in scoring position, I was trying too hard. I was trying to hit a home run instead of just get my base hit. So those are all the things that you hope that we are learning our lessons from, and areas that's how we're going to get better. We show we can get on base. We show we can hit for average, but scoring runs is the name of the game. And so that's another level to me, of taking the next step.
I want to talk about the pitching now, because I think a lot of people from the outside, and whether media or fans, say, hey, this lineup could be really good, but I worry about that pitching. Obviously, we'll talk about the impact of Jose, but losing Jose just from a baseball perspective, you have an ace who was just one of the premier pitchers in the game. How do you see this staff shaping up with the way things look now without that bona fide ace there to go through every fifth day?
Well, we're definitely not going to be able to replace Jose. He's just one of those guys that comes along. There's very few Jose's that come along. They're the top tier pitchers in the game, just don't come along very often. So we're not really going to be able to replace that. I think one of the things that was our strength last year was our bullpen. And you looked at what A.J. Ramos was able to accomplish, Kyle Bearclaw, David Phelps. These guys, quality at the end of game guys that can pitch. So we've taken that strength, hopefully added to it, and bringing a Brad Ziegler in who gives us a different look, a Junichi Tozawa who gives us another different look. And we still have a lot of young guys in our system. We talk about Brian Ellington, Nick Whitgren, Drew Steckenrider, guys we'll see in camp. They're still coming. Our bullpen is probably one of the strengths of the organization. So those are areas that we feel like we can tie down pretty good. Our starting rotation is an area that hopefully between the bullpen and the starting rotation, we're able to protect the starters some. Obviously you can't go eat your starter in the fourth every day. That just can't happen over the course of the season. So we're hoping our starters are going to keep us in the game, but we will have the ability to shorten the game a little bit through our bullpen, and that's really the way we plan to attack it.
As a manager, and you dealt with this a lot, and being in LA because it's such a big market with so much stuff coming your way, you're always going to deal with outside stuff. And unfortunately, last year, one of those things was the impact of Jose's death. I have two questions, one on Jose and one on outside distractions. But how do you address even this year? It's only been 4 months, and even talking to some of the guys yesterday, I mean, most of these guys are still really grieving, and it's something that you just don't forget and move on from. So as a manager, when you're trying to head into spring and just think of baseball, how do you even address that loss still and what it means for these guys having it in their mind knowing that he's gone?
Again, don't really have a playbook for that, but just kind of like dealing with it last year. But I think time obviously will help our guys to be away from it a little bit, but I don't necessarily think we want to forget. You know, I mean, Jose, the passion that he played with and the energy, that young kid feel that you got from Jose and the energy he had with fans and people, those are things you don't really want to forget. You want to take that, but there are also some lessons to be learned from the whole situation also. So we want to make sure we learn our lessons from the situation. So I don't try to, not trying to play Jose for anything other than take the good we've seen, honor that. It's things that changes your life when you go through it.
That patch means what to you? See, that 16 that will be there all year long.
That Jose, for me, that patch is, to me, I don't think I ever forget Jose, and he's just a really special kid to deal with. And I loved his energy and the way he played and the way he loved performing. And that's something that's special. So that patch is just a reminder of Jose, his love for the game, his childlike enthusiasm that I think we should never really forget. As we get in this game and you get professional, sometimes you talk about, oh, this, it's a business, it's whatever. Well, it may be, there's a part of that, but you can't ever forget that little kid that's inside of you that played this game when he went to Little League and really worried more about getting that soda after the game than he did about playing, right? That's what we really thought about. That's what Jose means to me.
The other thing I wanted to talk about too, and this is a situation that obviously you really don't have to worry about, but all the stuff that's going on now, we just talked to David Sampson. You get to camp and here you're excited about baseball, and the guys, and they're all like, man, you're asking me all these questions about a sale. Like all the guys are saying, I just want to talk baseball. And I know you're going to be asked about it, especially initially now, when you start the season. As the season goes on, it'll kind of go away. But your thoughts when you saw the report that this team either is for sale or maybe even sold already? What did you think when you saw that?
I was surprised a little bit, and we've heard rumors over the past few years about different things, but that's the part of being a professional and really at my level, which I consider field level, with our guys, we don't have any control over what goes on above us. We don't have any control over any kind of decisions that somebody would make, concerning that. All we can do is take care of our business. So we prepare, we get ready, and we play, right? And that's what we do. So that's the way I handle that. Now, when I think about it, I know Jeffrey from the standpoint he loves the game. And that's one of the things I know. Jeffrey's gotten a lot of criticism in the past. But for me, Jeffrey is a guy that loves the game. He loves these players. He may get frustrated with one thing or the other, but we all do. And so, if that day would come, then we deal with it. But I know from our standpoint, we just got to get ready and play the game and give the fans, what they come to see. But also we're playing for something, and we're playing for this city, but we're also playing, for each other as a team. And can we put ourselves in position to be that team at the end of the year that plays the last game? And that's what we're looking for.
As a follow-up, just one last thing. Did you, and I know you're not going to talk about private conversations or anything, but did you reach out to Jeffrey or David or anyone when you heard the news, or is that something you kind of just not even worry about?
No, I haven't reached out to anyone. Obviously, our PR guy kind of calls me and says, "Hey, this came out today." I was driving down, so that was another one of those calls that killed killed about 70 miles. It was one of those things that he's going to just let me know. And then obviously I know that people are going to ask you about it. I have been through one before. It was in LA when they sold the club, and it definitely it's a transition. But I thought from that standpoint, it really wasn't anything different for me as a manager. You prepare the same way. You get your players prepared. We have outside distractions all the time. Guys deal with anything that could happen in their family. They could have illnesses, they could have injuries, they have parents, they have different stuff we see all the time. So guys are dealing with stuff. It's just how can we kind of compartmentalize that 4 hours? Those hours of that game, that 3 to 4 hours we're going to be playing, we can focus, and that's what these guys are good at.
Finally, back to baseball, and the last thing I want to ask you is, you know that you've been here only 1 year, but you know the history of this team. It's always the team that it might be young, but they can't really contend. And last year, you guys, like you said, played some meaningful baseball late into the season. How good can this team be? Is it because from the outside, no one's ever going to expect this team to be good enough, whether it be payroll or small market, whatever it may be. But you, as a manager, you look at your team and think what?
No, I like our club. I'm excited about our team, and I liked our team coming into last season, and I think they did things that showed me that I had good reason to believe in them, and I still believe in them. Again, some of the things we talked about earlier in the conversation about some of the lessons we learned from going through last year and some of the seasons, that's going to be the marker that tells us, are we ready to jump to that next level? Because we've got the talent, we have the ability, but you have to put that ability on the field. We can talk about it. Every team's going to be saying the same things, right?
Nobody's going to say expect to lose.
Exactly. But I think our guys, they feel like they're good, and we have a club that's in my mind pretty close. These guys get along. They get after it pretty good. We don't have bad guys on this club. We got guys that show up. They're good guys. They do their thing. But from there, how do we take it to the next level? That just doesn't make you good enough just because you have that. It doesn't make you good enough to win. So we've got to do the things that are free. To me, you got to do your work. You do your prep work. You get ready. You work hard every day. You stay together, as a club, and there's power in that.